Hi there, this is Diana Southall, Chief of Strategy for Atlas Alignment Growth Partners. And today I have for you an executive briefing on how to hone your business strategy to be more market dominating, how to at least corner one area of your niche. And so when people talk about strategy, they're often thinking about having a sales target, but I'm going to share with you 3 core strategic elements of that strategy that are really essential foundations to put in place if you'd like to grow your small and mid-sized business. All right, so let me show you what those different elements look like. Move myself out of the picture here too. Okay, so to have a market dominating strategy, we will talk about that. We'll talk about what I've nicknamed smooth and sticky sales and how to FutureCast what your business would look like in 3 years and the action items to get there. So the problem typically is that most organizations cannot describe how they're different from their competitors. So they look like this little ducky. They look like everybody else. And they say, well, we're family owned and we're locally owned and we provide great customer service. So in order to articulate more clearly what your market dominating strategy is, you need to think about your advantages. So we have a tool we call SWOT for short, strengths, weaknesses, and trends. We'll talk about why that's important beyond the original. You may have heard of SWOT. Next, we'll talk about how to focus on your ideal customer persona, what that is and why it's important. And then lastly, once you have those trends and business opportunities identified and core customer, ideal customer, then you can come up with your brand promise that'll help you differentiate. So let me just talk about those for a minute. So the SWOT is a way to identify your core competencies, what your organization is really great at, and then match them with emerging trends. So the part of the T is that you brainstorm all the different trends that are impacting your location, your region, your industry. And then from there, think about ways that you can address those trends with a new business opportunity. The ideal customer persona is a way to think about who are customers that are delightful to serve. You love working with them. They're typically repeat or long-term customers, and they're more profitable. And lastly, they really value what you offer. Not everybody's a Walmart shopper, and not everybody is on the flip side, the Nordstrom, the very high-end department store customer. So they have a different offering for different core customers, ideal customers, and you want to make sure that you're not trying to offer something to Walmart shoppers that's luxury, and vice versa. And then, as I said, lastly, then you're going to detail out 3 clear and measurable brand promises that particular ideal customer wants, and that is different from your competitors. So this is a fairly challenging exercise. It usually takes organizations quite a while to hone in on these, but these are the things that really stand out and provide that, as we talked about, that corner of the market, that niche that you can really serve those ideal customers best. The second problem we have is that we're often working too hard to get new leads, turn them into prospects, have conversations, and get sales, or if in your retail, get them to come in and buy from you or online. So there's many reasons for that. And we work a lot with what's called sales enablement, which is looking at the sales processes. So to get smooth and sticky sales, as you know, e-commerce and your phone here, right? We can buy from Amazon and have it in 2 days. As a smaller mid-sized business, customer buying habits have completely changed. So we have 2 evaluation steps here that are really important. The buyer's journey mapping, looking at your sales pipeline and your conversion right now. And then the more design and looking to the future activity is to figure out how you can wow your customers with an amazing experience. Okay, so buyer's journey mapping is literally just that, mapping out from awareness to consideration to purchasing to taking care of them, servicing them, and then even thinking about how to get your customers to be loyal and what they call advocates or referrals. Is think about the different touch points that are in your process now, and how can you make your customer easier and more relevant and more aware of them, depending on where they are in the stage. So every organization that does this, in my experience, finds some things that are opportunities to improve. And that's really the essence of the evaluation. The next step is to look at your sales pipeline, and from again, that awareness and generating a lead all the way through the sales process or the think about the different steps that you're making your buyer go through. Remember, I talked about smooth and sticky. And then also plot out who's touching them. And again, as an evaluation, this is a tool that when organizations look at it, and then this is part of that sales enablement, is that the right person to do that? And is there too many handoffs? I mean, are we making it confusing or slow and not sticky for customers? Those are the lenses by which you would look at your current pipeline. And then the other really essential diagnostic tool is to look at your conversion rates. So how many leads turn into perhaps demos or to conversations? How many actually, what's your proposal acceptance rate? And if you don't have those, that's okay. And I work with most organizations that haven't really identified those as clearly as they might have. So that's also part of the evaluation and the diagnostic part of this step. And then once you've plotted it out, there's always an opportunity to look at it through those different lenses of, are you making it smooth and sticky and easy for customers to say, hey, there's a way we can improve it and also make it faster, because the longer you take to convert someone, the more likely they are to either give up or go somewhere else. And then, as I said, those are the two diagnostics of the current state. The great book by Joey Coleman talks about the 100-day customer, new customer experience and the 8 phases of the customer life cycle. That could be one way you look at it, but think about what can we do once we get that customer to say yes, what we can do to get them to stick around, to be more loyal. And if you have an opportunity to resell that customer or have them refer, that would be a really important part of a wow customer experience. And obviously the result is when you do that, you have more delighted customers, they're more advocates, they refer, and they tell everybody, they remark about how remarkable you are as an organization, which of course is going to lead to more sales and more revenue. So the third problem we often have with our strategy is that we're just stuck. Maybe our growth has stalled, or many business owners and senior leaders think like they're in Groundhog Day every day. Every day is the same. One of my clients talks about, it feels like my managers, every day is their first day on the job. And we certainly don't want that, right? We want to feel like we're making progress and we're moving the organization forward. And we're not solving the same problems over and over. So that'll be part of execution when we do that video. But in terms of from a strategic perspective, there's 3 ways you can really identify where you're going as the captain of the ship, right? And then also rally your team, your crew around that. And so the three steps here that we recommend are looking at your vivid vision, forecasting out or future casting, the profit and the value and the potential for your business, because it's definitely something to get excited about, and using the power of 1 to identify that. And then lastly, once you know where you're going and you understand the value of doing that, to get energized around the results, then you can use the objectives and key results process, or OKR, to establish not only your goals, but your targets and actual stepping stones to get there. So let me touch on those briefly. Okay, so Vivid Vision is 13 questions that you can do alone, you can do with the group, with your senior leaders, you can do them separately and come together. Typically, the senior leader, the CEO, the owner, needs to be the one that is clear on the vision. But certainly you can enroll other people and get input in terms of where you feel like you should be going. That earlier work we talked about in terms of your brand promise and your ideal customer, those are obviously important parts of that vision. And then people want to know, they don't want to be sailing in a fog. They want to know where we're sailing to, right? And which island we're going to next. So this vivid vision is really important to really put life around that and give some purpose and direction. And when you communicate it properly, you really engage and rally your team around achieving those goals. The Power of 1 is a great tool that was invented by Alan Mertz. And it's under a cash flow story report that we offer and we use. And it's actually an online tool that when we plug in really just 6 numbers, we can look at the future potential of your business in terms of profits and in terms of business value. And the idea of the Power of 1 is there's 7 levers that you can pull that can increase cash and profits and value, and some more than you realize. So this is a tool that we can use to look at that Power of 1 impact and also help you identify that future forecast, that future vision, to say, we'd like to do this, what's it going to look like, and what's the steps on the way that we need to build. As we know, growth burns cash, and a lot of organizations have really died of indigestion that they are growing so fast, but they run out of cash. And then the third step under this key strategic element is to really outline those objectives, those goals that you have in place regarding that vivid vision, not only on a 3-year basis, but on year 2 and year 1, because in order to get to 3 years, we need that 13-week race every quarter, every year, okay? So the idea is if you have a 3-year goal, stepping stones are where you plot out year 2, year 1, and then you step out, okay, what we need to do at those different milestones so that we don't have a gap, right? We're not shooting for something that we think is going to take a year and it takes 2 years. So there's a bunch of templates that we use and a process that we use to identify that, but it's really critical so that you know at the end of December, this is where we need to be. And then if you're not getting there, then you need to make adjustments. So that's the idea of objectives, key results, and stepping stones or projects. So the goal is, the promise is, if you get those 3 strategic elements right in your organization, you can grow revenues and profits even with the same number of leads and with the same team. But as you see from some of the ideas I outlined, doing any number of those are probably going to increase your leads, increase your conversion rates, which will mean more sales. And certainly if you're able to increase revenue even quicker, then you might need to add a team and increase even better. But the idea is, we've seen this with a lot of established organizations that tightening up in a few of these areas can exponentially grow revenue and profits and business value with the team they have now. So if you're interested, all of these are laid out on a 2-page checklist that I have. It'll describe each of the elements, the 9 action items, and it has some quick video instructions. It's a little bit deeper dive. So either if there's a link on this page, you can click that to get it, or you can message me as well. So I hope that was useful for you, and I wish you success in your scaling up endeavors.